Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, perhaps my favorite book of all time. Girl Genius, this is a brilliant webcomic that I suggest everyone reads. It's perhaps my favorite webcomic. My husband owns the screenplay to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I have no intention to ever read this. This is my husband's favorite poet, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, A Coney Island of the Mind. My all-time favorite Dickens book, Our Mutual Friend. Edward Eger's Magic by the Lake. I think Edward Eger was one of my favorite authors as a child. A very good nonfiction book by Tina Fey, her autobiography, Bossy Pants. One of the Sandman books by Neil Gaiman. This is the first graphic novel series I ever read. William Goldman's The Princess Bride. I'm sure you've watched the movie, but if you haven't read the book, read the book. It is hilarious. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. I loved this book. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And then we have my husband's collection of Dune books. We have Dune, the first book, which I have read. We have Dune Messiah, which I just read. Then we have a couple of books I have not read. Children of Dune. The Butlerian Jihad. And upside down, The Road to Dune. And Dune, The Battle of Corrin. One of my favorite collections of poems when I was a kid by Lee Bennett Hopkins, Munching. This is actually a reject. We got it from some sort of sale of factory rejects, and it is just, this thing is brilliant. I love this thing. It just has the greatest pictures and the greatest poems on earth, I swear. We have the second Redwall book, Mossflower by Brian Jacques. I remember just adoring this series as a kid. We have Need by Carrie Jones. This is one of the early YA books I read. I don't remember, but I remember liking it, but I don't really remember the story. My husband has a Stephen King book, Gerald's Game. This is one of the lowest rated Stephen King books, though, so this is definitely not where I'm going to start with Stephen King. A Separate Piece by John Knowles. This is one of the favorite books I read in high school for school. I need to reread it. It's really good. Into the Wild by John Krakauer. This is just a fascinating story. Actually, the only Stephen King book I've actually read on writing, which is brilliant. If you have any interest in writing, I highly recommend it. My husband has the Fisher King, the book of the film. I do not intend to read this. Oh, and then these are out of order. There we go. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. I loved this book. I have not read the second one yet, though. I am trying to stretch them out as long as possible so I don't get through them too quickly. But I do think it's probably time for me to read the second. And then we have just one of my C.S. Lewis books, The Horse and His Boy. The rest of them are on the shelf below. But that is my collection from B to the early L's.